We're going to look at one last interesting aspect of the sun's motion, but before we do, I don't quite want to leave this midnight sun thing. I think it's so cool. So just using stellarium, I want to show you I've gone up to Alaska. All right, so we're in the northernmost part of the United States, and this is summertime. I just want you to see what this really looks like. You saw the picture of the sun all the way around the sky, but just watch what would happen to the sun over the course of one day. So this is like noon. No, what is this? Yeah, this is like morning time. There goes the sun. It's going up in the sky. Look at that. It never sets, and it never really rises. It just stays above the horizon. In fact, let's just follow the sun around the sky as it goes. And you can see kind of how that picture was taken then. The person just took pictures every couple hours as it went around. It's really quite extraordinary. I want to look at one last thing with you. One other way of looking at motion. I'm going to go back to Michigan here. And here we are. Let's go back in time to noon. So the sun is really high in the sky. And what I'd like to do is look at this thing called the Analemma. And I'm going to illustrate that by going forward a week at a time. So again, this is motion that happens over the course of an entire year. And I just want you to watch now. We've looked at the up and down motion, but there's another piece to this that makes this analemma shape. So watch as it goes up and down, and look for this other little side-to-side motion that we're going to see here. So here we go, a week at a time. Now you'll notice I'm going exactly a week every single time, and the sun does kind of a little figure eight in the sky. You see how there's a little left and right motion as well as the up and down? That pattern in the sky is called the analemma. Alright, and maybe if you've looked at like an old globe, you've seen a picture like this which shows the analemma. And it is kind of like a figure eight. The bulk of it is this up and down motion, which we've already seen is caused by the tilt of the Earth. But there's this extra little side-to-side motion. What I want to do is I'm going to write just like a 50 to 75 word explanation of that left and right motion as a model, because I want you, we've already talked about it, I want you to write it out, just to have to kind of synthesize it in your mind. You're going to write an explanation of the up and down motion of the analemma, which we've talked a lot about, but I want you to write it out. Okay, so as a model for you, I'm going to write out the left and right motion, why that happens, which we haven't talked at all about, but I'll write an explanation. But I want to show you a couple pictures of this. So what some people have done is, just like you saw in stellarium, what they could do is they could take a picture of the sky once a week for like, a whole year and see how the sun's position changes. And the only trick to doing this, you have to do it at the exact same time each week. So like every Saturday at exactly noon. And if you do that, you get pictures that, and some of these aren't at noon, some of these are later in the day, but you can see these are a series of real pictures that were taken, and this actually shows the shape of the analemma. This happens to be in somebody's neighborhood. You can even see the shadow of the person taking the pictures. Okay, here's another example of an analemma photograph. This is where it's taken every day at like 4 p.m. All right, and you can see the same kind of figure eight shape. All right, here's another example where it was always taken around sunset. Pretty amazing though, the sun really does this kind of motion in the sky. Of course, we understand the up and down, and you can read my written explanation of the left and right.